Don't let other people's
false realities implement yours.
Yours, exactly.
Because that's what it is. It's a false reality. Hey babes, I'm Madeline.
And I'm Deja.
And welcome back to the Elegance Exchange. So, this is kind of one of those topics that's widely talked about, but at the same time, not.
Yeah.
So, we're going to be talking about how social media is honestly quite fake.
And it's like, I know we hear all the time, like, don't believe everything you see on social media, but, like, legitimately,
don't
believe everything you see on social media.
I think that people post what they want to post on social media, and so 99.9% of the time, you're only seeing the good stuff.
You never see any of the bad things, let alone
and
that
if you do, there's something wrong.
Yeah. But if anything, like, social media, it's all for the likes, it's all for people's, you know, image, if anything. And so people tend to post more stuff that's like, that makes them look a little bit, you know, lively, better.
Yeah. And think about it this way too. Coming from somebody who's in PR and advertising, or who's studying that, we make our markets for things so catered towards the people that we want to see it, right? So, you know, you have target demographics, you have target age groups and things like that. And so whenever somebody's posting something, they are using all these kind of psychological tricks to trick you into thinking that this is what it should be. And I'm not talking maybe your everyday person, but like those huge influencers, those huge brands and companies, you know, they are using psychology to trick your mind.
And like whenever you read those things, you like start to, or whenever you see those things, you start to be like, oh, I really want that. Like, I have to have that if that's the way that it makes her look.
Exactly.
Or like, oh, if that's the way her skin looks like right now, that's when I have to get it now because I have to do it for my skin.
Because I want you to think for a minute. If you are looking up on TikTok acne products and you're like, okay, I want something that is going to help treat my acne, would you take advice from somebody who's still struggling with acne? Or would you take advice from somebody who has quote-unquote clear skin? Most of the time, you're going to go with the person that has clear skin because, you know,
you see that their skin is clear, and then you're like, okay, well, obviously it had to work.
Yeah, and you think that the girl that has acne doesn't have a good solution. But what if I tell you that the girl who has clear skin has never had acne a day in her life? Then you're just buying some product because she got sponsored or they got sponsored, and you're just buying it because you believed it.
And honestly, that's usually the case, to be honest. Like, that is, like...
90% of the time.
It's like, oh, yeah, like, I use, like... How many influencers do you watch just, like, scrolling, and they're like, oh, my gosh, like, I'm now currently using this brand, and it's, like, making my skin clear. And then on the bottom it says sponsored. Like...
Girl, I think especially with TikTok now, everything is so prone to the TikTok shop, right? I will just constantly like search like baking recipes or something like that, and then like some baking mix or baking pan pops up, and then I'm like, I automatically don't trust what you're saying because it's become so normalized for sponsored posts, for paid posts, you know? I just don't trust what you're saying.
Yeah, like we kind of lose that sense of realism, if anything.
Yeah, exactly. And another thing is, say you're everyday people, right? So in the modeling industry especially, you know, they will constantly take in clothing. And by that, I mean, think of any Say Yes to the Dress, you know, episode that you've ever seen. Or any wedding dress shopping video you've ever seen. You know those little garment clips that they use to clip the back of the dress?
Make you look like more.
In some modeling shoots, they do that to help accentuate your waist or to, you know, make a pair of jeans fit better or things like that. They will use things to make the model look better, to fit the model to the clothes versus the other way around.
And then that's whenever you look at it, you finally see the model and you're like, damn, like I really wish I had her body, like that's such a dream body. And then
but then it's like they're using all these tricks to make the clothing look 10 times better, when in real life, if you saw a huge garment clip on the back of somebody's jeans, you'd be like, that's awful.
Right?
So why are we looking at it from a perspective of, oh yeah, that's so real? And I get it. It's because they make this look so realistic. They make it look like, you know, this is how everybody should be. Skin retouching, also crazy now.
Oh my gosh, no,
Tell me-
literally. Like, we can...
Yo.
The amount of things you can do just on CapCut, like, I didn't even realize that there was a setting like that, because Madeline and I were just messing around, and we were like, oh yeah, let's see if it does this, and I was like, oh my gosh, there's a retouch option. It literally can retouch your acne, it retouches your teeth, it literally brightens your teeth, it literally... It'll like snatch your face too. Like, you can like select which person you want it to work on, and it'll like make your lips look bigger. It'll fix your face. It'll give you the beauty effect. Like, there's so many things. It'll even like skim your waist, like, if you really do it. And it's like, what the heck? Like, why are we doing, what are all these changes and edits that you can do?
You know, and I think one thing is, you know, getting rid of your acne for a little Instagram post, like, you know, using a little whatever is fine. You know, your teeth is fine, whatever, because that's not actually altering what you look like. It's not altering who you are. But when it comes to the point whenever you see an influencer heavily Photoshop their body, heavily skin retouch where their skin is so smooth, it's crazy. And
It starts to get a little suspicious, and then it's like,
I think we've all fallen into that trap at least once in our life where we discover that and we're like, oh yeah, like that looks so good.
I look so much better now.
Because, now listen, early on whenever I started taking photos, because if anybody follows my Instagram, you know I constantly post photos. Whenever I was younger and I started posting those photos, I would do like the skin like blurring, I guess, or whatever, on my skin, because at the time I had really bad acne and I thought that it looked more professional. Did it? No. And if anything, it just sets that fake standard. I don't know, like, it sets you up to think that that's so realistic. And I get it, you know? Angles, also another huge way. So if you, okay, so say like somebody's sitting, right? You want to create light spaces with your hands. So you make triangles, or if you are like trying to get your waist to look like smaller or whatever, you can literally like tuck your waist in like that, but then keep your shoulders, and it will make your waist look smaller, and it's undetectable from the front.
No, and a lot of gym influencers do that too, I noticed, if anything, because it's
Or
always
you'll
like,
stretch your abdomen.
yeah, or like whenever you know, like those iconic like mirror selfies, like there's a certain way where you can like move the bottom half of your body and it'll make your butt look bigger just because of the angle that it's at, and everyone's like, oh my gosh, like I want that.
No,
but then it's just the angle.
Literally, I do like little yoga videos on the beach or whatever, right? So I was doing one stretch, and then I posted a picture from it on my Instagram, and it's like where I have my leg like bent behind me or something, and it makes my butt look huge. And I do not have a big butt. I don't. But it makes it look like that, and it's just the angles. And you know, some of the stuff is not made to be misleading. It's simply just to make, you know, you feel better. And
Yeah,
it's
you just
made
feel more confident.
Yeah, because quite frankly, I mean, if somebody just, you know, posted something and they're standing just completely straight, you'd be like, okay. But I don't know, you know, just understanding that it's not necessarily fake, but it is made to make you look better.
It is made to look more appealing. And if anything, it's the same thing, like physical, like the physical aspect, it's the same thing of like your life, if anything.
Yeah.
Because I know, like scrolling on TikTok, like I said, I think if anything, TikTok's just the biggest, you know, platform, because we have a very short attention span and we see a lot of things.
At least for our generation.
And like on TikTok, like you see all these influencers going on brand trips, you see people with money, you see people traveling, you see like the typical like, oh, I'm 20 years old but I have my own apartment in New York City, and you know, I get paid all this money.
If only.
Right?
Did you see there was this one girl who I guess would do like Target shop with me's all the time or whatever. And I don't know her name, and I'm not going to say that anyway, but I guess she got caught like shoplifting.
Wow.
Or she would like, or I don't know, maybe she'd like, I don't know, but I know people will go on these big extravagant hauls and they'll like show you buying the stuff, but then 2 days later they go and return it all.
Yeah.
Because that's not realistic. Nobody needs that. We're in such the state of like over-consumerism. It's insane. You don't need 60 perfumes.
No, you don't need 60 different bath washes either.
No.
You don't need 60 different
Oh
perfumes.
my gosh, I know.
The
Some
eyeshadow
of those videos
palettes
are insane.
No, exactly. And like the makeup collection, and it'll be like a whole entire Sephora rack of lip glosses, and it's like, why do you need that many in different shades.
You're never gonna use that all.
But, like, going back to the lifestyle, like, people, you see all these people with all these different lifestyles, like, all these high-end,
Right.
like, lives, and you're like, oh my gosh, I wish my life was like that. But then you have to be realistic. Like,
Yeah.
think realistically. Like, your life may not be like that, but your life doesn't have to be in pity. Like, you don't have to look at your life in pity and be like,
No.
I wish I could be living in a penthouse right now, but no, I go to school and do all this stuff. Like,
Yeah.
don't let other people's
False realities implement
yours, exactly.
Because that's what it is. It's a false reality. Most of these people, we only post the good things online. We only post the things that we want other people to see. I don't post myself whenever I'm sad and having a breakdown. No.
Right?
I only post myself when I'm happy and surrounded by friends or doing something fun, That's just how social media is. And that's why if you really have such, it's really difficult for you to separate the fake between the real. Sometimes it's better to just get off social media altogether or only follow the people that you need to be updated on in their lives. So, like, your family, your friends, that's it.
Or if you're following someone that, like, you look at them and you're like, oh my god, I get jealous every time I see them, like, you just need to
Unfollow
go
them.
ahead and unfollow them. I was
not
guilty
worth
of
it.
that too. Like, I have a favorite influencer and she's great and I'd watch her stuff all the time, but it got to a point where it was like, okay, I need to stop comparing myself to her. Like, this is not healthy,
Yeah.
and I just had to unfollow her and, like, give myself a little bit of a break.
They also always say, you're not ugly, you're just not rich. Face fillers and Botox and plastic surgery has become such a thing. And
So normalized these days.
Well, yeah, and there's nothing to be ashamed of about that. Like, if you have filler, that's totally fine. But I think it's just become so normalized and people are, so nonchalant about it, which is, fine. But it creates this fake reality for everybody else because they're like, oh, well, if she takes this supplement, then that's what made her become skinnier. That's what made her have bigger lips or less wrinkles.
Yeah.
If she used this face cream. Like, that's just the main issue. Not to shame anybody. That's never the intention.
case.
It's just most people don't understand that that's where this is coming from. It's not from something else.
And if anything, I feel like social media these days should be used to, kind of just, like, share your progress in life. Like, if anything, it should be
Yeah.
If anything, it should be good for you to look back on the memories. It's like, you see all these pictures with your friends. Like, it should just be something for you to just keep track of yourself and your progress and your little life updates.
Exactly. It's almost like a little Pinterest board of who you are. It's, the first thing that people see whenever they click on your profile is they see all of your posts. Do you want them to see something that is so authentically you and, you feel really good about posting? You're not worried that, oh my god, is somebody going to know that I've, photoshopped my waist? Is somebody going to know that? Like, you want something that is so genuinely you, that you are proud to post, that you feel like you look good in, undoubtedly.
Yeah, like, you don't want to have this constant fear of, oh, what if they think I'm fake, or what if they think I'm photoshopped, or, like, you don't want to have any of that, and it's not fun. It's very constricting, and you don't end up living the life that you want to live.
And like I said, if you need to get rid of your acne in some post, if you need to whiten your teeth, do it. Make yourself feel better. But don't change who you are as a whole person.
And definitely don't do it because of the standard that you
Yeah.
believe everyone else is.
No.
Social media
Do
is
it
a mess.
because it makes you feel good.
Exactly. Like, you shouldn't have to constantly look at someone and be like, oh, well, now I have to get lip filler because it made her look 80 times better.
No. Because most of the time, no.
And I think that's
Yeah, I think
if
that's it.
anything.
So hopefully this episode just kind of made you sit and reflect and be like, hey, like, I'm beautiful the way I am. Everything's marketed to become a certain kind of way. So yeah, hopefully that helped, but we are on a bunch of social medias.
We're on TikTok, Facebook. Oh, no, I'm sorry. We're on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube.
You're not on Facebook.
No, we are not. Spotify, and then we're working on our Apple, for our Apple users.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So definitely leave us a comment on some things that you want us to talk more about, or
give us some feedback on some things that you did like about the podcast, or some
Yeah.
things that you probably want differently,
Yeah, we are always here for comments, and we love reading them. So yeah, definitely let us know. But bye, babes.
Bye, babes.